This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
The impeachment investigation takes a big step today. The House takes a formal vote on the inquiry that's already uncovered major details about the Trump administration's attempt to get foreign governments to investigate political opponents. The full House in Washington going on the record within the past hour, and they are moving forward with impeachment. ABC's Rachel Scott is live on Capitol Hill with more details.
Good afternoon from here on Capitol Hill. Yes, this was the first time that all members of the House had to go on the record about their support for the impeachment inquiry. Today will be remembered as the day that this impeachment investigation entered a new phase. The House holding its first formal vote on a resolution that will open up the impeachment investigation that has been playing out behind closed doors, with Republicans and Democrats on 3 committees asking questions. Today's vote will allow the House Intel Committee to have public hearings.
This is something that is very solemn, that is something prayerful, and that we had to gather so much information to take us to this next step.
We are not here in some partisan exercise. We are here because the facts compel us to be here.
The measure would set up procedures for President Trump's lawyers to participate in hearings. Democrats holding majority in the House getting the final say on how it all shakes out. Republicans complaining they are being unfairly limited.
Trying to put a ribbon on a sham process doesn't make it any less of a sham.
It's not a fair process. It's not an open process. It's not a transparent process.
As that showdown unfolds on the House floor, the second current White House official will testify privately. Tim Morrison, another national security official, arriving on Capitol Hill this morning, hours after he resigned. Morrison brought into the investigation after William Taylor, the highest-ranking diplomat to Ukraine, mentioned him more than a dozen times to House investigators last week. Taylor said Morrison had a sinking feeling when President Trump seemingly urged Ukraine's president to investigate 2016 election interference, as well as Joe Biden and his son for corruption. And within minutes of that resolution passing, President Trump took to Twitter calling the entire impeachment investigation a witch hunt. The White House press secretary releasing a statement as well, calling it unfair and fundamentally un-American. Reporting live on Capitol Hill, Rachel Scott, ABC News. Back to you.
Rachel, thank you. Back here in central Indiana, a foggy, cold, just overall gross Halloween today. Meteorologist Todd Clausen has been so busy all morning long making sure that we have an ideal trick-or-treating forecast, and it's just not shaping up to be that way, Todd.
You could see the camera shaking there in the wind. The wind, Meredith, only going to start to get stronger here throughout the afternoon hours. Now, one positive we've had is that steady rainfall from this morning is pushed off towards the east. That is the good news. The bad news is, while there's not a whole lot going on right now, just in the last few minutes, a few flurries have started to appear here in western Indiana. More of a solid batch of snow shower activity across central Illinois, and that too is going to start to make its way into our area throughout the afternoon. So all the precipitation from this point forward is going to be scattered, whether it's in the form of rain and or snow showers, and we should primarily go over to snow shower activity here throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. As you can see here on TrueCast, as far as any accumulation, the pavement should be fine. In some northern communities, don't be shocked maybe if you see a little accumulation on grassy surfaces, and that is just about it. I mentioned the wind. It'll be picking up here throughout the afternoon hours, a wind advisory for some counties here in central Indiana, but everybody will see gusts probably 30 to 40 miles per hour by time we get to the trick-or-treating hours. We're at 39 right now. We'll be in the low 30s to right around freezing. That puts wind chills in the 20s tonight. If you are heading out, make sure you bundle up. We'll talk more about this forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. That forecast very important today for families planning to trick or treat. As you make your plans this evening, there are some options that will keep you out of that wet and windy weather and keep the day feeling festive. Our Alyssa Donovan has all those details.
Multiple cities have opted to move their trick-or-treat times from Thursday evening to Friday due to today's forecast. On your screen is the list of cities that have changed their trick-or-treating hours. Muncie, Hagerstown, North Vernon, and LaPel have rescheduled trick-or-treating for Friday evening. Pendleton has changed trick-or-treating to Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. Several other cities' officials say they are monitoring the weather and to keep an eye on city social media pages to stay updated. If you want a safe bet and to get your trick-or-treating finished up today, there are many indoor events happening across central Indiana. IMPD's Southeast District will be passing out candy today starting at 3. You can head to the fairgrounds for the annual Safe Night Halloween Trunk or Treat. That starts at 5. Several area churches will also be holding events, including Cornerstone Lutheran Church. The Martin Luther King Community Center is also holding a safe trick-or-treat event at 6:30. And all Indianapolis fire departments will be passing out candy starting at 6 tonight. As of now, several cities are still holding their outdoor trick-or-treating hours this evening, so you still have the option to bundle up and brave the weather.
Alyssa, thank you. We are still working this midday to find out more about a shooting that sent a man to the hospital overnight. The shooting happened around midnight near 32nd Street and Emerson Avenue on the northeast side. Police tell us a woman found the 21-year-old man shot outside of her apartment door. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Police also say that victim is not cooperating with investigators. On the east side, fire investigators are still trying to figure out what started a fire at this vacant house. The fire started around 11:30 last night at a home near Washington and Sherman. Fire crews on the scene say the building has been vacant since 2003. No injuries were reported. There is a new effort to get Indiana schools to use food that is grown by Hoosiers. Today, the Indiana Grown program released a new buyer's guide. It's going out to public schools across the state to help food service directors find products grown in their area that can go straight from the farm to the school cafeteria.
Everybody wins in this type of situation. Kids win, farmers win, and communities win. Really, more money gets put into our local economies if we're really encouraging schools to purchase from farmers.
The new guide is being paid for by a farm-to-school grant obtained by the state health department. Your kids and grandkids and some of us grown-up kids aren't the only ones dressing up this Halloween. Today, the downtown doggy daycare center Indy Hound held its annual costume contest. Just look at all these entrants. Superman was there, Piglet and Tigger, Buzz Lightyear, even a dog wearing a shirt and tie. Maybe they were dressed up like they're human who was at work today. The public gets to choose a winner. Indy Hound says they will be posting pictures and taking votes today on their Facebook page, so head on over there. Sometimes we take our vision for granted. Coming up, we're talking about a school teaching those who can't see how to handle the challenges they face every day. And she's accused of the brutal murder of one of her boyfriends. Now, after more than a week of gruesome testimony, her case is about to go to the jury. Todd.
And Meredith, the forecast definitely not a treat here on this Halloween. That is for sure. All the mild air getting pushed off towards the east. Temperatures going below freezing tonight. We'll talk about that and also your trick-or-treat forecast coming up when the news at noon continues right here on RTV6.
New craze tonight on ABC.
The Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired specializes in teaching children who are visually impaired how to do everyday tasks on their own. The main focus is teaching the students to be independent. The students learn the same core academics that all other students in Indiana have to learn, but they put an extra emphasis on how to do everyday tasks without help. Things like making your bed, folding laundry, getting on the computer, and other tasks that we may take for granted.
All too often, individuals who don't work with children who are blind or have low vision tend to focus on the things children can't do because of the blindness or the low vision. We really try to emphasize that your child, your student, can pretty much do anything a sighted child can do if given the right opportunities, if provided with the right accommodations.
The school's students also compete in sports like track, swimming, cheerleading, and even skiing. Nurse says they also offer support for parents of visually impaired children. Multiple fires burning out of control. We'll look into what's fueling the ongoing disaster in California and what the state's officials are doing to try to get those flames under control. Here at home, a spooky scene this Halloween. Lots of fog still sitting over central Indiana. Meteorologist Todd Clausen will have your full Storm Team 6 forecast coming up. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
Make a difference.
This is RTV6 News at Noon, working for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge Ashley Wilcott. Now, the defense in Wisconsin versus McCandless has rested, and the prosecution began its rebuttal case this morning. 22-year-old Ezra McCandless is charged with first-degree intentional homicide in the stabbing death of her former boyfriend, Alex Woodworth. She's claiming self-defense, saying he attacked her first. The defense called a total of 5 witnesses, including a trauma expert who testified it's not unusual for someone in that situation to forget key details.
As I was saying before, one of the hallmarks of post-traumatic stress disorder is, on the one hand, you've got these awful images and maybe body sensations and things popping into your mind, and on the other hand, you really want to push them away. And so sometimes people don't remember things because they're in a self-protection mode. They just don't want to. It's too painful, it's too scary, it's too disgusting, it's too humiliating, whatever it might be.
On cross-examination, Dr. James Hopper agreed that people who commit crimes often intentionally conceal information. Now, McCandless is facing life in prison if convicted. That's the latest for now. Watch Court TV for every new development in this trial. Now back to you.
And you can learn more about other cases around the nation right now at courttv.com. Today, large portions of California continue to burn as record winds continue to fuel wildfires in several parts of the state. As ABC's Marcy Gonzalez tells us, law enforcement is focused on trying to get as many people as they can out of harm's way.
Urgent evacuations this morning in Southern California.
They were slamming the garage door, yelling fire.
With new wildfires erupting, sending those massive flames tearing straight towards homes.
But we knew we had our work cut out for us when we arrived.
Another day of powerful Santa Ana winds with gusts up to 70 miles an hour, fanning multiple infernos. The strongest wind event in more than a decade, leaving destruction in community after community.
Oh, it's devastating. Thank God for the firemen.
In San Bernardino this morning, people rushing outside with hoses, trying desperately to slow the flames.
You smell smoke. People started screaming down the street and everything else, so we came out and started wetting things down, and things kind of just went downhill from there.
And in Riverside County, a fierce firefight.
Another great water drop.
The 46 fire igniting today, just hours after the nearby Hill fire destroyed homes and forced the smoke-blanketed evacuation of a senior center.
Okay, sit down, kiddo. I got you.
At the same time Wednesday, an enormous assault in Ventura County. The Easy Fire charring more than 1,600 acres, encircling the Reagan Presidential Library.
Back here at the Hillside Fire, you can see firefighters still dousing what's left of this home, trying to keep burning embers from getting picked up by the strong winds still moving through this area. These winds finally expected to weaken later today. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, San Bernardino, California.
Marcy, thank you. Halloween is here, and Governor Eric Holcomb and First Lady Janet and, of course, First Dog Henry will welcome trick-or-treaters at the governor's residence tonight. The first couple and first dog will all be dressed in Jurassic Park-themed costumes. They'll be passing out candy from 6 to 8 tonight at 4750 North Meridian Street. Trick-or-treaters should use the gate on 46th Street. And if you're going to brave the weather and go trick-or-treating with the kids, we've got all the info you need on when you're supposed to be going out. That includes cities like Muncie that delayed trick-or-treating due to the cold weather that's in the forecast. The complete list of trick-or-treat times across central Indiana is up right now on the RTV6 mobile app and theindychannel.com. And if we take a peek outside right now, this is a look at downtown. View to the north. It really hasn't improved at all, Todd, since earlier this morning, and the temps have just remained cold and stagnant.
Yeah, the only improvement is we don't have that steady rain that we had this morning, but it's still damp, it's still dreary, as you saw, and you mentioned the temperatures. Yeah, they are going to be going in a downward direction. So here is your forecast. We'll just start off right with it. For Halloween tonight, you're going to be dealing with bone-chilling wind conditions. So what's going to happen is the wind is going to start to pick up here this afternoon as the front gets a little bit closer. So it's been a little breezy so far throughout the morning hours. The winds are really going to start to gust. In fact, we are talking about wind speeds that are going to be in excess of 30 miles per hour later on this afternoon and this evening, and that is going to put wind chill values down into the 20s throughout much of the evening hours, because actual temperatures by the time we get to 5 p.m. are going to be down at 34 degrees, and then we'll be down to right around 32 by 9 o'clock. So it doesn't take much to factor in wind chills in the 20s. 20s. You see this wintry mix. Some snow showers already starting to make their way here into parts of central Indiana. Not the best day down here in Brown County State Park. A lot of these leaves may come off the trees here overnight tonight as this wind really starts to whip. So we had that steady rain this morning. That has moved out. But as we zoom in here, starting to pick up a few flurries through the Greencastle area down towards Spencer as well. And this is now going to be a trend heading into the remainder of the afternoon. This little better batch of snow shower activity here pinwheeling through central Illinois. And this is going to make its way into central Indiana as well. So don't be shocked later on this afternoon and this evening if you're going to be out and about and you start to see some flakes. As far as accumulation goes, the temperatures have been well above freezing. The road should just be fine throughout the evening hours. And northern locations here, though, not out of the question. There could be a little accumulation on some grassy areas, so be aware of that. And then going into the evening hours, here is the wind forecast. So a wind advisory will go into effect starting at 3 o'clock. And notice how these winds ramp up with the passage of the front, and they should be gusting here near 40 miles per hour from about 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then overnight tonight, they will start to subside. It's a westerly wind direction, and that's what's driving in the colder temperatures. Still a pretty good spread. 44 in Connorsville right now, but only 34 currently in Crawfordsville, 37 in the city. And these temperatures, again, will continue to fall into the 30s this evening, then overnight tonight. As the wind calms, look at this. The first freeze is going to take place of this fall season tonight. Everybody's in the 20s, 22 to about 27 degrees for the overnight low. Tomorrow morning, there's a lot of moisture on the ground. We're not going to see anything falling from the sky tomorrow morning. It should be mainly clear, but there could be some slick spots out there, especially those bridges and overpasses. But otherwise, Friday is a pretty nice day for us after that very cold start into the mid-40s with lots of sunshine. But again, if you're heading out this evening, bundle up those kids with the hat, with the gloves, everything to stay warm, and then watch out for those gusty winds and maybe a few slick spots where you see some snow shower activity to the north.
Wow, Todd, all right. Thank you very much. If you're looking for a unique way to celebrate Halloween, maybe you should head underground. Halloween in the Catacombs is a concert for people of all ages that will take place in the Tomlinson Hall Catacombs beneath the Indianapolis City Market. The event starts tonight at 9. Local bands will perform until 1 a.m. There will be trick-or-treating, a cash prize costume contest, and much more. Tickets are $10 in advance or $15 at the door. Still ahead on the news at noon, the latest look at court cases around the nation. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6. We'll be right back.
Notorious for giggling in the middle of it.
The Washington Nationals are the world champions of baseball today, and whenever a team wins a big sports championship, something you are guaranteed to see are the interviews with fans celebrating the big win. As those of us in the news business know all too well, when you mix live TV with partying fans, you never know what you're going to get.
This is huge for DC. DC needed this. We got some asshole in the White House right now.
Everything you just said is a winner. Guys. Hey, this is live TV. There is a lot going on right now, and I'm out Mission Navy Yard. Woo, is that weed?
Well, is it? Hey, it's just one of the hazards of the job, but I imagine those reporters are okay getting to celebrate with their fans. That's one of the hazards, but also one of the most fun parts of the job, Todd.
Looked like a good time there. All right, outside this evening, trick-or-treating temperatures will be right around freezing. Wind chill values will be in the 20s with rain and snow showers and wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour. Make sure you bundle up. Tomorrow morning, we're in the 20s. It's extremely cold to start the day. A frosty morning, but we get back up to 45 with sunshine. Then over the weekend, plenty of sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the 40s. Don't forget to set that clock back 1 hour Saturday night into Sunday morning before you go to bed. Otherwise, you're going to be a little late for church, early for church. Which way is it go?
You're going to be confused regardless,
be confused either
just
way.
like we are right now.
We'll finally back up into the 50s as we get into Monday and Tuesday.
All right, thank you, Todd, and thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. We hope you join us here from the news at 5 before you head out trick-or-treating. In the meantime, have a great afternoon and a safe and happy Halloween.